Imagine a world where traveling through time was simply impossible, undreamt of, even in fiction, until 1895, when one man penned a tale that would forever alter the fabric of imagination itself. From the dawn of consciousness, humanity has been captivated by time. We've yearned to rewind moments of joy, revisit forgotten eras, or glimpse the shape of things to come. This universal fascination has birthed countless myths and legends, yet for most of history, the concept of traveling through time remained firmly in the realm of magic, prophecy, or divine intervention. No chariots of fire, no enchanted clocks, no wishing upon a star truly offered a scientific means to defy the relentless forward march of minutes and seconds. The very idea seemed a fundamental violation of reality itself. But then, a visionary mind emerged, poised to shatter these age-old constraints.
Throughout ancient cultures, stories hinted at supernatural shifts in time, but never as a deliberate, mechanical journey. From Rip Van Winkle's magical slumber into a changed world to the mystical visions of prophets foreseeing the future, these tales lacked the critical element of agency. Characters didn't choose to traverse time, they were subjected to it, or merely perceived it. Time was a river, perhaps, but one whose current could not be navigated upstream or downstream at will. It was a fixed, unyielding dimension, dictating the course of events rather than being manipulated by human will. The notion of a device, a machine, was utterly alien to these early narratives.
As the Enlightenment blossomed, the understanding of time evolved. It became more than just a sequence of events. It was a linear progression, a quantifiable resource, especially with the Industrial Revolution demanding precision and schedules. Clocks became ubiquitous, symbolizing humanity's mastery over measurement. Yet this newfound precision only emphasized time's unbending nature. Scientists like Isaac Newton described it as absolute and flowing uniformly, independent of anything external. It was the backdrop against which all physical reality unfolded, an immutable framework. The idea of going back or jumping forward remained a philosophical paradox, not a scientific possibility.
Then came Charles Darwin's On the Origin of Species in 1859, a watershed moment that dramatically expanded humanity's temporal horizons. Darwin's theory of evolution, based on natural selection, necessitated immense spans of geological time, millions upon millions of years, for species to gradually transform. This concept of deep time shattered previous notions of a relatively young Earth and provided a scientific framework for thinking about vast temporal scales. Suddenly, the past wasn't just ancient history, it was a sprawling, dynamic canvas of change. This intellectual shift created fertile ground for imagining not just the deep past, but also the distant future in a scientifically informed way.
Against this backdrop of scientific ferment, Herbert George Wells was born in Bromley, Kent, England in 1866. His humble beginnings as the son of a professional cricketer and a former domestic servant belied the extraordinary intellect that would soon reshape literature. Wells's early life was marked by limited opportunities and struggles, but a pivotal leg injury sparked a voracious appetite for reading. He devoured books on history, science, and social theory, laying the groundwork for his unique blend of scientific speculation and social commentary. This self-education, combined with a keen observation of the rapid societal changes around him, would fuel his creative engine.
Wells's academic journey took a crucial turn when he secured a scholarship to the Normal School of Science in South Kensington, London, in 1884. Here, he had the immense fortune of studying biology under the renowned Thomas Henry Huxley, a fierce advocate for Darwinian evolution and one of the most influential scientific figures of the era. Huxley instilled in Wells a rigorous scientific method, critical thinking, and a deep understanding of evolutionary principles. This formal training in biological science, combined with his natural intellectual curiosity, provided Wells with the scientific literacy and imagination necessary to conceive of concepts that went far beyond the popular romances of his time, embedding scientific realism into his narratives.
Even before The Time Machine, Wells was grappling with the concept of temporal displacement. In 1888, he published a short story called The Chronic Argonauts in the Science magazine of the Royal College of Science. This early novella featured a mysterious inventor, Dr. Nebelgifel, and his chronic Argo, a device that could travel through time. While less refined and lacking the philosophical depth of his later masterpiece, The Chronic Argonauts clearly demonstrates Wells' nascent idea of a machine-based time travel. It was a crucial precursor, a literary sketch that allowed him to experiment with the mechanics and narrative possibilities of such an invention, laying the groundwork for a more robust and enduring concept. The evolution from The Chronic Argonauts to The Time Machine wasn't just about plot, it was about solidifying the scientific premise. Wells moved away from vague magical explanations towards a deliberate, rationalized, though speculative, mechanism. He sought to ground his extraordinary premise in plausible, albeit fictional, scientific principles. This shift was revolutionary. It elevated time travel from fantasy to a nascent form of science fiction, inviting readers to consider its implications not as mere enchantment, but as a potential, albeit distant, scientific reality. This commitment to scientific logic, even in fantastic scenarios, became a hallmark of his enduring work and a defining characteristic of the science fiction genre itself. A critical intellectual underpinning for Wells's innovation was the burgeoning scientific and philosophical discussion around the fourth dimension in the late 19th century. Figures like Charles Hinton and J.W. Dunn were exploring the idea that time might be a spatial dimension, similar to length, width, and height. This concept, though not fully formalized into Einstein's spacetime until later, provided Wells with a pseudo-scientific justification for his time machine. If time was a dimension, why couldn't one move along it just as one moved through space? This speculative leap, informed by contemporary thought, allowed Wells to present his invention not as supernatural, but as a logical extension of scientific understanding, however fantastical. By 1894, Wells had refined his concept into what would become the time machine. He initially began writing it as a series of articles for the National Observer, titled The Chronic Argonauts once more, but this iteration was short-lived. A turning point came when his friend and editor, William Ernest Henley, encouraged him to rework a story for the new review. This pressure, coupled with Wells' evolving ideas on social evolution and dystopian futures, led to the development of the iconic serialized novel. Wells was not merely crafting an adventure, he was embedding profound social commentary and scientific speculation into a thrilling narrative, making every word count towards a deeper message. The Time Machine was serialized in the New Review from January to May 1895, captivating readers with its audacious premise. Later that year, it was published as a novel, cementing Wells's reputation as a groundbreaking author. The book was an immediate sensation, not only for its thrilling adventure, but also for its profound philosophical and sociological implications. It wasn't just a story about a device, it was a meditation on human destiny, class struggle, and the ultimate fate of the Earth. Its success demonstrated that the public was ready for stories that blended scientific concepts with imaginative narratives, paving the way for a whole new genre. The Time Machine itself was a marvel of Victorian speculative technology. Wells described it as a glittering mechanism of brass and ivory and crystal, featuring curious twisted bars and rods. Crucially, it was not magical. It was a tangible, engineered device built in a laboratory by an inventor who understood the principles of the fourth dimension. This commitment to a mechanical explanation, however fictional, was revolutionary. It grounded the fantastic concept of time travel in a semblance of scientific possibility, making it accessible and believable to a public fascinated by industrial progress and scientific innovation. It was a machine designed to conquer the fourth dimension of space, as the time traveler himself explained. Our protagonist, simply known as the Time Traveler, embodies the scientific curiosity and intellectual daring of the era. He is an unnamed but clearly brilliant inventor,
driven by a thirst for knowledge and a desire to prove his radical theories. His journey is not for personal gain or heroic deeds, but purely for scientific observation and understanding. Yet there's an element of hubris in his endeavor, the belief that he can control and master time without consequence. He sets off with an air of intellectual superiority, eager to dissect the future, unaware of the profound challenges and horrors that await him, which will ultimately strip away his initial confidence. The description of the time traveler's maiden voyage is a masterclass in immersive writing. Wells vividly conveys the disorienting, exhilarating, and terrifying experience of temporal displacement. The world blurs, the sun streaks across the sky in dizzying arcs, and buildings rise and fall like rapidly sped-up films. It's a sensory overload, emphasizing the alienness of moving through time. This detailed account of the journey itself was unprecedented, giving readers a tangible, visceral understanding of what it might feel like to defy the universal constant. It was a journey into the unknown, not just geographically, but chronologically, pushing the boundaries of human experience.
The time traveler lands in the year 800 2001 AD to a seemingly utopian future. He encounters the Eloi, a beautiful, delicate, childlike race living in idyllic harmony. They are vegetarians, dressed in flowing robes, spending their days in playful idleness amidst decaying grandeur. Initially, the time traveler sees them as the pinnacle of human evolution, a society free from struggle and hardship. But their innocence is quickly revealed to be a profound weakness, a result of over-adaptation and a lack of challenges. Their beauty masks a deeper, more tragic reality, a devolution that has stripped them of intelligence, curiosity, and resilience, leaving them vulnerable to a hidden menace.
Beneath the surface of the Eloise paradise lies Wells's searing social commentary. He uses their degeneration as a chilling warning about the unchecked trajectory of Victorian class divisions. The upper classes, living a life of ease, eventually lose their intelligence and strength, evolving into the helpless Eloi. The industrial working classes, toiling in the dark and underground, adapt to their harsh environment in a far more sinister way. Wells suggested that if society continued its trajectory, the chasm between the haves and the have-nots would not merely persist, but would deepen and solidify into distinct, mutually dependent, and horrifyingly devolved species. It was a dystopian vision far more nuanced than simple predictions of technological failure.
The true horror of 802-701 AD emerges with the discovery of the Morlocks. These pale, ape-like creatures dwell in vast underground tunnels, remnants of humanity's industrial past. They are the monstrous descendants of the working class, who, having been confined to subterranean factories for generations, evolved into nocturnal, cannibalistic predators. They maintain the Eloi, much like cattle, herding them for sustenance. The reveal of the Morlocks is one of literature's most potent twists, shattering the time traveler's idyllic assumptions and exposing the grim reality of a species tragically divided and devolved. Their existence serves as a terrifying metaphor for the hidden costs of industrial exploitation.
The relationship between the Eloi and Morlocks is one of symbiotic horror. The Morlocks provide the Eloi with clothing and shelter, a vestige of their former servitude, while the Eloi, in turn, become the Morlocks' primary food source. This grotesque balance illustrates Wells's pessimistic view of humanity's future if social inequalities are left unchecked. It's a world where the masters have become the livestock and the servants have become the shepherds. Humanity hasn't progressed, it has fractured and devolved into two distinct, horrifyingly codependent species, a stark and unsettling vision of evolution gone awry, driven by social rather than natural selection. The time traveler's journey doesn't stop at 802-701 AD. He ventures further into the far future, witnessing the dying Earth under a bloated red sun. He sees the last vestiges of life, giant crabs scuttling across desolate beaches, and a profound, terrifying silence. This segment of the novel is arguably the first dying Earth story, inspiring countless later works.
It's a stark reminder of the universe's indifference to human existence and the ultimate fate of all things. This profound sense of cosmic loneliness and the inevitable end of all life is perhaps the most chilling aspect of Wells's vision, far surpassing the immediate horror of the Morlocks.
At its heart, The Time Machine is a powerful social critique and an evolutionary warning. Wells was deeply concerned with the trajectory of industrial society, the widening gap between rich and poor, and the potential for humanity to stagnate or even regress if it lost its intellectual and physical vitality. He argued that complacency, overspecialization, and the erosion of common purpose could lead to a catastrophic evolutionary trap. The novel served as a profound thought experiment, urging his contemporary readers to reflect on the long-term consequences of their actions and to strive for a more equitable and sustainable future before it was too late. It was a call to avert the dystopian future he so vividly imagined.
The publication of The Time Machine caused an immediate stir. Readers were captivated by the thrilling narrative, while critics and intellectuals debated its scientific and social implications. It popularized the concept of time travel as a mechanical, scientific endeavor rather than a magical one, igniting imaginations and inspiring future writers and scientists alike. The book contributed significantly to the burgeoning genre of science fiction, demonstrating its potential for both entertainment and serious commentary. It initiated public discussions about evolution, social engineering, and the very nature of time itself, forever changing how we conceptualized our place in the universe. H.G. Wells didn't just write a story, he essentially invented the concept of the time machine as we know it today. His vision profoundly influenced the entire genre of science fiction, inspiring countless authors, filmmakers, and scientists. From Doctor Who's TARDIS to the DeLorean in Back to the Future, the mechanical time travel device is a direct descendant of Wells's original creation. The Time Machine remains a cornerstone of science fiction, a testament to Wells's imaginative genius and his ability to combine thrilling adventure with profound philosophical inquiry. Its themes of social evolution, technological ethics, and the human condition continue to resonate, proving its timeless relevance.
Over a century later, H.G. Wells's The Time Machine continues to challenge and inspire. While actual time travel remains firmly in the realm of theory, its literary invention opened a gateway to endless possibilities. It allowed humanity to playfully yet seriously contemplate its past, present, and future, and to ponder the consequences of its actions on a grand temporal scale. The desire to master time, to revisit what was or glimpse what will be, remains one of humanity's most enduring fascinations. And it all began, scientifically speaking, with a glittering mechanism of brass and ivory, crafted by the masterful imagination of H.G. Wells.